everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Ryan Holtz Show podcast. I am your host, Ryan Holtz. Now, listen, what has been going on in the world? Wow. Now, I'm opening up this episode with the question of, if you had to pick Zelenskyy from Ukraine or Trudeau from Canada, who would you pick as your leader? Now, you know, my heart goes out to all this just debauchery happening in the Ukraine. And you know, at the show here, we're all about love more, love more, love more, love more, less war. But unfortunately, the way the world works, sometimes that's where it goes. So if you haven't heard what's going on, Russia and Ukraine, wow. The Russian Federation and Ukraine are currently in a state of war. The Russia-Ukrainian war began in 2014 following the Russian annexation of Crimea and Ukraine. February 24th, Russia launched a large-scale invasion of Ukraine, its neighbor to the southwest, marking a dramatic escalation of the Russian-Ukrainian war that began in 2014. It is the largest conventional warfare operation in Europe since World War II. Ukraine officially declared itself an independent country on August 24th, 1991, when the Communist Supreme Soviet Parliament of Ukraine proclaimed that Ukraine would no longer follow the laws of USSR and only the laws of Ukrainian SSR, de facto declaring Ukraine's independence from the Soviet Union. History, major history. Ukraine is the largest country in Europe. The Pripyat, and sorry for my pronunciation, a city of ghosts and a horrible tragedy known as the Chernobyl disaster happened over 30 years ago. One of the things Ukraine is mostly recognized for is its architecture. The skyline of Kiev is filled with golden domes, a symbol of Ukraine. Ukraine exports products to 140 countries in the world. Wow. Its main export products are metals, engines, transport, and mechanical equipment, chemicals, and vehicles. Top import items include mineral products, automobiles, transportation equipment, chemicals and textiles, production of grains, oils, and potatoes. Again, sorry for the mispronunciation on some of these things. I'm reading some of these facts as you're hearing them, just because I get my team to do a little bit of fact checking. But why I want to do this episode today is just to figure out, first of all, who would you pick as your leader? Now, I posted this question to Instagram, and it was absolutely insane, the amount of replies that I got. So I want to read a couple. I basically just said, hey, I'm going to pull up the post right now so you see it, and let's go. I basically said, which one would you pick as a leader if you had to, Trudeau or Zelenskyy? Now, all these comments came in. Just, I mean, crazy. You know, Carolyn Lux Fashion File says, I like both. Hard decision. Then I had, you got a lot of nutty ones coming in as well. Then Undeniable Future says, neither Zelenskyy could have saved so many lives by making a deal or just saying he wouldn't join NATO. Then you got Focus Gray. Knowing what I know, I'm going with Zelenskyy. He actually means what he says. He's prepared to fight. It's not just drama lines coming out of his mouth. His wife stayed in Kiev too. I admire their dedication to the people that they serve. Then you got a lot of people basically saying they're both clowns, both actors. Then you got Kubasov that says, if I had no choice but to choose one, I'll definitely choose Zelenskyy because I'm so effing tired of all that BS Justin dumped on us. So Zelenskyy, just for change, and maybe he'll know why we chose him. Then Gracie from the block says, some of these comments are disgusting. Some people have no class. I don't know much about Zelenskyy. Just read about him and what he is doing for his people and country, which is very brave of him. Trudeau, he is not perfect. He made some mistakes and he owned up to them, and he is not an evil leader. He's peaceful. How can you be ahead of a country when they're loudmouths and people talking about your rights and don't respect you? It's hard. I choose Trudeau. He is the leader. Then, Ruth Reef filmmaker, she didn't hold back. She says, "You're effing kidding, right? Do your homework." Hey, listen, I'm just posing the question here. Don't get mad at me. I'm just posing the question. I'm curious. Then District Barber's Shop Salon says, "They are twins, LOL." Then Bill Buckle YJR says, "Homer Simpson." I think you guys get the point. Instagram, social media, we hear you, we get it. But the fact still remains, who would you vote for, or sorry, who would you want as a leader, and what would that look like to you? Now, to see this kind of war happening in 2022 in our modern world is very disheartening, to say the least. Again, my heart just goes out. Our hearts just go out to the people of Ukraine and just with everything going on with COVID. Our world, I feel like, has never been more crazy. It's never been more just upset. So I want to know from you, if you're listening, who would you pick as your leader? What do you think of the war going on with Ukraine and Russia? And if you're watching, hello, I want to know what you think of what's going on in Ukraine. What do you think of the war? And if you had to pick between Zelenskyy or Trudeau, and I'm saying Trudeau because we're based in Canada, so this has been a very big thing about how he's handled the Freedom Convoy trucker movement. But I just simply want to know in the comments, who would you pick if you'd pick anybody? And what do you think needs to happen between the Russia and Ukraine situation so that, everybody wins, if that's even possible or a plausible question? Again, I wanted to jump on here today for this week's episode. I think it would be just absolutely irresponsible for us not to talk about something so big that's happening in the world. Please smash the like and the subscribe if you're on YouTube. Write a 5-star review if you're listening to this on Apple Podcasts. But again, we love you. Team Holtz is all about you. We are the Hope Dealers, your neighborhood Hope Dealers. We wish you a great week. And again, remember, curiosity should always be your mandate. And keep smiling amidst everything that's going on. The future looks bright.
We're so glad you enjoyed this episode of the Ryan Holtz Show podcast. Please don't forget to smash that 5-star review, as Team Holtz will love you for it. Also, say hi to Ryan anywhere on social media using the handle @RyanHoltz1. That's RyanHoltz, 1. And if you or your business is looking to expand your brand, book a brand jam with Ryan using the link in the show notes.